Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. This is the fourth section of our Blogger template development course, and in this section we are going to design the blog section of our website. So let's get started. First, let's take a look at the original design. So this is the header section which we had already designed in the previous section. So below that we can see we have the blog post section. So here we have a heading, and then we have these blog posts, and we have a summary of the blog post over here. So in the blog post we have the thumbnail of the post, and then here we have the labels, and then we have the heading, the date when it was posted, and that's it. Then we have an underline after each of these posts. So let's go to VS Code, and this is our code as of now. So if you go to the browser, this is how our header section looks. Now let's go ahead and start with the blog section. So here after the header, let's go ahead and create a new comment. So to create a new comment, you can just type control plus / and then type whatever you want over here. So I'll just type end of the header. And if you go to the design, we can see that for the blog section, we have a lesser width. So here we can see we have this padding on the left and the right. So we'll add a padding to the wrapper, and we'll use the wrapper class over here. So let's create a new division with the class of wrapper. And if you go to the style.css, we can see that we have already styled the wrapper class, and we have given it a width of 1152 pixels and a margin of 0 auto. And we'll also add a padding. So we'll add a padding of 0 for top and bottom, and 120 pixels for left and right. Alright, so let's go ahead and create a section. And for this section, we'll have a class called posts wrapper. And the first thing we want is a heading. So here we can see it says latest blog posts. So let's create an h2, and we'll type latest blog posts. And for each of the blog posts, we'll create a division with the class of blog post card. So we'll type blog post card, and in that we have the thumbnail, the heading, the date, and the post body. So let's create divisions for that. We'll create a division with the class of thumbnail image, and then we'll create an s3, and we'll give it a class of post title, and we'll just type something over here. And after that we have the date. So we'll create a division with the class of post meta, and in that we'll type posted on 10th October. Right, after that we have the post body. So we'll create a division with the class of post body, and we'll add a paragraph over here, and we'll add some dummy text. So if you want to add some dummy text in VS Code, you can just type lorem and just type the number of words you want. So if I type 15 and press tab, you'll get 15 words of some random text. So we'll add some more text. So let me just delete this, and we'll type lorem 30, and we'll add one more paragraph, and here we'll type lorem 20. Alright, so let's go to our browser and see how it looks. So here we have the heading of the section, we have the title of the post, the date, and the post body. Now let's add the thumbnail. So inside the thumbnail image division, let's add the image. So I'll type img and images / and I have saved the image as post thumbnail 1, 2, and 3. So I'll just select the first one, and we can see the thumbnail is being displayed over here. And we also want to display the labels. So the labels are displayed on the thumbnail itself. So we'll add the labels inside this thumbnail image division. So for that, let's create a new division with the class of post labels. And in that we need to have an icon for the label. So we need to add this icon. So let's type img images / label icon, and after that we will add 2 anchor tags. So we'll just add technology and one more anchor tag, and we'll just type blogging, and we'll also add a comma over here. We have the labels displayed over here, and we also have the labels icon. So I think that's pretty much it with the blog post card. So let me just copy this division from here. I'll just fold this, so you can click on this icon and the whole division will be folded. I'll just copy this and paste it 2 more times, and for the third image we will type post thumbnail 3, and for the second one we will type post thumbnail 2. So here we have the first blog post, then we have the second one and the third one. Alright, I think that's it with the HTML. So let's go ahead and add a comment end of blog section. Alright, now let's add CSS. So let's go to style.css and we'll create a new comment, blog section. The first thing we'll do is we will add a line height to the paragraph. So here we can see we need to have a little bit more space between each of these lines. So let's go ahead and let's target all the paragraphs inside the wrapper. So here we'll type wrapper P and we'll set the line height to 2, and we'll also add some more margin to the bottom of the paragraph. So we'll type margin bottom of 20 pixels. So now it looks fine. Right now we'll style this H2. So let's go over here and let's type H2 and we'll set the font size to 24 pixels, and we'll set the text transform to uppercase, and we'll also add a margin bottom of 36 pixels. Alright, now we need to add some margin top to this whole posts wrapper. So if you go to the HTML, we can see that we have a division with a class of posts wrapper. So for that we will add some margin top. So let's type posts wrapper, and we'll set a padding top of 100 pixels. Now if you go to the original design, we can see that under our heading we have this yellow line. So let's add that. So we'll go to our CSS and we will use the after selector for that. So for that you have to type h2 : after, and in that you can add any content and it will be displayed after the heading. So if you type content hello, and now if you go to the browser, we can see that after our heading we have hello displayed over here. Now what we'll do is we'll just display a line instead of hello, and we'll also set the position relative to this heading. So for that, first of all you have to set the position of the parent, that is the h2, to relative, and after that we'll just remove hello from here, but we have to add this content property over here. It is compulsory. Right, after that let's set the position of the after to absolute, and we'll set the height to 3 pixels, and we'll set the width to 48 pixels, and we'll add a background color of FFE259. So we can see that the line is being displayed over here. Let's add it to the bottom of our heading. So for that you have to type bottom, and we'll just set it to -8 pixels and left of 0. So now we have it positioned correctly. Now let's style the thumbnail. So right now the thumbnail has a very large size. So let's set the height and the width of the thumbnail. So here we will type blog post card dot thumbnail image arrow img. So what we are doing over here is that we are selecting this img which is inside the thumbnail image division, and we are adding an arrow over here instead of just space. That is because inside the thumbnail image we have one more image for the labels, but we don't want to target this. We just want to target the image that is right inside the thumbnail image division. So for that you have to add this greater than symbol over here. Alright, so let's set the width to 100%, and we'll also set a height. So we'll set the height to 260 pixels, and we can see that the proportion of the image has been disturbed. So for that you have to add this property called object fit. So let's type object fit and we'll set it to cover. So now the image is being displayed correctly. Now the next thing is that we want to add these labels inside the image, and we want to position it relative to the image. So for that we have to set the position of the parent to relative. So if you go to the HTML, we can see that thumbnail image is the parent, and inside that we have this post labels division. So we have to set the position of the thumbnail image to relative. So let's add that over here, blog post card, thumbnail image, and we'll set the position to relative. And let's set the position of the post labels. So we'll type blog post card, thumbnail image dot post labels, and we'll set the position to absolute, and we'll set the top to 16 pixels and the left to 16 pixels. So we can see that the labels are being displayed inside the thumbnail. Now let's add some more styles. Let's add a light background color. So we'll set the color to FC, and we'll also add a padding of 8 pixels top and bottom, 16 pixels left and right. And we'll also set a border radius to make the corners rounded. So we'll set it to 10 pixels. And we want to center the labels and the icons vertically. So for that we'll set the display to flex and align items to the center. Now we can see everything is being centered vertically. Now let's also add a box shadow. So we'll type box shadow and we'll give the values 0, 4 pixels, 8 pixels, negative 3 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0 and 0.2. Alright, the shadow has been set. Now let's also add a margin right to this label icon so that we'll have a gap between the text and this icon. So let's type blog post card, thumbnail image, post labels, IMG, and we'll set the margin right to 10 pixels. Now let's target the anchor tags. So we'll type blog post card, thumbnail image, post labels A, and first of all we'll remove the underlines. So text decoration to none, and we'll set the color to black. We'll set the font size to 14 pixels and font weight to bold, and we'll also set the text transform to uppercase. Now we'll add an underline below each of these posts. So let's target the blog post card division, and we'll set a padding bottom of 50 pixels, and we'll set the border bottom to 1 pixel solid BBAFAF. So this is a light gray color. So here we can see that the border bottom is being displayed. We'll also add a padding top to each of the blog posts so that we'll have this gap between the border and the blog post. So let's also add a padding top, and we'll set it to 100 pixels. Here we can see for the first blog post we don't want to have the padding. We want to have the padding for all the other posts. So we'll decrease the padding from the first one. So for that you have to type blog post card, and we'll type nth of type 1. So this will select the first instance of the blog post card, and we'll set the padding top to 16 pixels. Alright, everything is working alright. Now let's target this heading, the S3. So let's type blog post card S3, and we'll set the font family to Dancing Script, and we'll change the font size to 36 pixels, and we'll also set a margin top. So I'll type margin of 42 pixels for top and bottom and 0 for left and right, and I think we just need to decrease the bottom margin. So what we can do is the first one is for the top, then we have for the right, then for the bottom we will have a margin of 12 pixels, and for the left we will have a margin of 0. Right, that's it for the heading. Now let's target the date. So if you go to the HTML, we can see for the date we have a division with the class of post meta. So here we will type blog post card post meta, and we'll set the font size to 14 pixels, and we'll set the background color to black and the color of the text to light gray. Right now it has a width of 100% because it is a division, and divisions are set to display of block by default. So we have to set the display to inline block so that we don't have 100% width. So let's set the display to inline block, and let's also add some padding. We'll add a padding of 4 pixels top and bottom and 16 pixels left and right, and we'll also add a margin left, and we'll add a margin left of 24 pixels, and let's also add a margin bottom. So we'll set a margin bottom of 24 pixels, and I think that's pretty much it with the blog section. So we have the heading over here at the top, and then we have each of the blog posts, and in that we have the thumbnail, the label, the title, the date, and a summary of our post. And if we scroll down, we can see we have a border bottom for each of the posts, and then we have the next post, and then we have another post over here. So that's basically it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below, and if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.